So hopefully you can all see my screen. Again, welcome to the GBSH Scholarships and Funding Information Session. I'm Professor Nora Colton. I'm the director of the Global Business School for Health. And I look forward to really telling you more about us as well as scholarship programs. So first of all, we are the first business school for health. We are a business school just totally dedicated to health and healthcare management. And the reason is because health and healthcare are so important to us and to humanity. And we've seen that particularly over the last few years with the COVID pandemic. But moreover, this is something that's really taken place and having an impact on all of us. So I think, we've got societies that are aging. We have societies that for various reasons are seeing more chronic disease. And just in general, we are seeing health become much more important. And it's not just about your physical health, it's also about your mental health and your well-being. So for all of those reasons, we at the Global Business School of Health feel very committed to making sure that students from all over the world, from all sorts of social economic backgrounds, have the opportunity to really study in our school. So as I go through, I'm going to talk just about some of the scholarships opportunities, give you some tips and tricks about how to really put together your finance package as you think about studying with us for postgraduate. So before I get into really talking about funding and scholarships, I just want to quickly go through and tell you just about the programs that we have in the Global Business School for Health. Of course, our flagship program is our UCL MBA Health. It's a very novel program. Many of you may have seen MBAs that profess to have a health specialism. We really have health built into the DNA in this program. From the very beginning, then you come into this program, you take, it's block delivered and can be done as a full-time or part-time. It's a face-to-face program, but really students get all the different areas you would expect in a general MBA, but they get it with case studies and interaction with health professionals throughout. They also have a fantastic experience to work on a global health challenge and finding a health solution in a developing or low-income country that they work with UCL academics and industry experts to undertake. So it's just a fabulous experience to really understand what it's like to be an international consultant on this program as well in the health space. We also have three flagship special, really novel MSCs. The first one really that I want to talk about is biotech and pharmaceutical management. It's an area that, of course, anyone watching the healthcare space knows that this is an area that's growing rapidly, lots of innovation, lots of discovery taking place. We've seen that really at GBSH, and we have put together a program. It's really about the management and leadership side of biotech and pharmaceutical management. It gives you some really incredible skills, particularly in terms of looking and thinking about jobs in product development, strategy, business management, investment. So in this program, you get a real cross section of kind of analytical courses like clinical trials and statistics and pharmacoeconomics, but then you also get some real industry courses like policies and practices in biotech and pharmaceuticals, a biotech module on commercialization called commercialization of research ideas. In terms of pharma, you get commercialization and marketing of pharmaceuticals. And then it's got, something on capital and private equity markets for healthcare, as well as supply chain management. So just really a hands-on, very intense program, ideal for anyone who really wants to go up into the business side of those professions. We've also got an MSc in digital health and entrepreneurship, and again, very cutting edge. It's really about health tech, med tech, but really with this innovation, entrepreneurship angle that is so imperative for the solutions that are going forward. And again, many of us have heard about telehealth and telemedicine and seeing the difference it's made through the pandemic. But going forward, we're going to see much more about diagnostics and preventative medicine, through remote patient monitoring. And so that aspect of digital health will be covered in the course in multiple ways that really will help launch you into a fantastic career. And then last but not least is our MSc in global healthcare management with roots in analytics, finance, and leadership. And what we've done there is really we give you a core background in leadership and management in healthcare, but then we get it through our different routes. We allow you to get a specialism. And how we identified those specialisms was working with employers and really surveying them and understanding what they saw as the most important areas of the healthcare management sector that they needed leaders and senior managers to understand. And not surprising that it's analytics, because data is so important for driving healthcare outcomes today. Finance, of course, because costs are rising and we need to be able to bring down costs but keep patient quality up. And then leadership, we need courageous leaderships. We need people who can really lead change, inspire, and influence others to make those kinds of changes that we need to reimagine our healthcare systems. So those are our programs. All of our programs, by the way, have group projects on them that students undertake. They give you an opportunity to really experience in some very interesting ways the sector, work with industry mentors, have coaches and mentoring and counseling throughout your program by people who are actually really engaged in these sectors. So how does that then, how do you fund that? So, you see these fabulous programs, you recognize they're cutting edge, you want to be a part of the Global Business School of Health, but you need to understand the costs and you have to understand how you're going to pull together your funding package. So first of all, in addition to tuition, this is just an example of an average week. Now, this varies a lot between students. I know a student who really keeps their food budget down to £8 a week rather than the 31. Household bills are kept to a minimum, and they live within walking distance or biking distance of the university. So this is just a rough idea, but I think it's pretty close. I would say, 200 to 250 per week for London is about right in terms of funding your, costs. Then in addition to thinking about that, of course, you've got your tuition. If you're coming abroad, you have your flight. So those are really, key maintenance costs that are coupled with, then your fees. So there's lots of different ways to start to then think about how you put together your funding. Of course, some people have families that can help add some support or help them access a loan, but others have to really put it together themselves. So I'm going to talk today about all of these different funding options. And there's not one way and there's not one source. I have been astounded across my career by students who could apply for scholarships and don't take advantage and do them. It just amazes me that across institutions and across, charities, there are many scholarships that lie unused because students don't take the time to apply. So the first tip that I want to give you is apply for everything you can. You know, when I went to university as a student, I came from a low-income family. My family could not afford to fund my education. I applied to every scholarship, whether it was small or large, and I was able to pull together an amazing ability to have an education, live on campus, and it can be done. So funding should not be a barrier. It should be a challenge. And one of the ways that you address that challenge is by then being very proactive of putting together your funding package. So there's scholarships at UCL, scholarships in the Global Business School for Health. Of course, if you're a UK student, you've got UK government loans that you can access. There are other private loans that you can access. There's other funding, and additional supports. And as I said, the charity sector can be a very important place for looking for funding for you. So I'm going to start out really by talking about inside the UCL Global Business School for Health. We've got some amazing scholarships and we're really committed. The first one is our MBA Health Future Impact Scholarship. And we have a Women's Healthcare Leader Scholarship and an East London Healthcare Leader Scholarship. And this is really about providing talented students the ability to access our education and trying to also build in support as much diversity within what we do at the Global Business School of Health as we can. So the first scholarship I want to talk about is the MBA Health Future Leaders Scholarship. We've got quite a few of these. We're hoping to give at least 10 of these. And so I would really like to highlight these. They're up to 15,000. If you think about 45 grand for an MBA, 15,000 scholarship, that instantly brings it down for an overseas student to about what you would pay to do an MSc. So it's a great equalizer and an attempt to make our MBA affordable to a wide variety of students. So it really is for, exceptional students. You have to apply for the MBA and gain entrance into the MBA. And then you will also have to write a 500-word essay just about how you're going to make impact in healthcare in the future. So it's quite doable. You can find more information about how to apply on our website. As I said, the first step really is to apply for the MBA in health. And once you're accepted into that, you can apply for the MBA in health and apply for the scholarship at the same time. The deadline for these scholarships is really the end of March. So it's really important to, as you're putting in your application, to put in your application for this scholarship. If you are applying for the MBA and you don't apply for the scholarship, I just think it would be a wasted effort. Whether you think you'll get it or not, make sure you apply. Now we all, and by the way, the 15 grand does go towards your fees. We also then have another scholarship, and sometimes students ask me, can I apply to more than one scholarship? Of course you can. You can apply for more than one within GBSH. You can apply for one in GBSH and also another one at UCL. So again, it's about building up, thinking about how you're going to pull the money together to fund. The other thing, and I'll talk about more about this, is you can work part-time or full-time, depending on how you're studying, to also supplement your income. So this scholarship is Women Healthcare Leaders. Many of you may or may not know, but women make up about 70 to 80% of the labor force of the healthcare sector. And yet when we look at senior roles and leaders in healthcare, they make up much less, in the places like the United States, they make up about 20%. Here in the UK, it's a little better in the NHS, it's about 30 to 40%. Of course, if we move over to the low-income countries and across the world, we see that women in leadership roles in healthcare only make up about 5% of the leadership. So the goal of this scholarship is to really help a group of women. And again, we have a number of these scholarships. You not only get £5,000, to put towards your tuition, but you also get, the ability to be in a special leadership program, training program that involves leadership coaching and high impact leadership training to help you become your very best. And the ambition here from the school is to really track the women that come through on this scholarship to see where they go and the kinds of outcomes they have as they move through their career. So it's a fabulous opportunity. So if you are a female student, and you can use this for either your master's or your MBA. We also have a scholarship. It's dedicated to East London. Why? Because our campus is in East London. And so it's really a nod towards our community. If you're from East London or you are working in East London, you can apply for this scholarship. And again, like the previous scholarships, you'd write an essay and you have to be accepted to either the MBA or the one of the master's programs. So just to recap, you apply to the program. You can apply for the scholarships at the same time that you apply for the program. You'll need to produce a 500-word essay for your chosen scholarship alongside with your chosen program. You need to submit this by the close of play on the 31st of March at the very latest. And you can apply for more than one scholarship. And you would send your 500-word essay to the admissions inbox. And if you have any questions or concerns about that, please reach out to us. We're always here. We want to support our students as best we can. So please let us know. So now I'm going to move on. I'm going to highlight some scholarships that we have here at UCL that are also available for you. And again, you can find these on the websites for UCL. First, we've got UCL Master's Bursary. It is up to £10,000 and it's for students from low income backgrounds. And again, check it out. We've got the Professor Sir Malcolm Grant Scholarship, which is £25,000 for a UCL alumni. So if you've done your bachelor's degree at UCL, you might want to check that one out. And again, these are not all the scholarships available. I'm just highlighting some of the scholarships available. There's the Thomas Witherding Bat Scholarship, which again is £10,000 for a UK student doing an MSc. We've got international fee partnerships. So there are various, there's the Fulbright, the Chevening, Commonwealth. If you're an overseas student, make sure to go to the British Council, check out what they've got on their site. Really put some energy and into researching and searching for scholarships. It will pay off. Now, this is a tool that we have at UCL, and it's really important. And so if you're having problems using it, make sure to come back to us and we can help you. This is UCL Scholarship Finder. It will help you. You can click on it, you put that you're a prospective student. It will ask you, what academic year, what level, what department, where you're from, and it will help pick up a number of scholarships that are available for you to explore. So make sure to use this. Again, it's another resource to help you with your research as you start to look and put your funding package together for your master's or MBA. There are also in the UK, of course, if you're a UK student, you can apply for a UK government loan. And, particularly on professional programs like these, you might want to do that. You can get a maximum up to 11,570 pounds, which is will help pay most of the costs of a UK master's. For taught and research masters, all subjects, they're for full-time, part-time, but they're not for flexible. So keep that in mind. You do need to be a resident in England. You have to be under the age of 60, and repayment will be concurrent with your UG loans. So again, if you've got any questions about that, there's lots of information that you can find on how to get a master's loan here in the UK. There are also some alternative guides to postgraduate funding. You can see access here. This is really a great resource. So if you put in and look for this, you can find it. Oh, let me go back. It's a resource that will help you identify, again, other resources. So it's an online database of funding opportunities. It's a comprehensive guide. You need a PIN, and so the PIN number that you'd put in as a prospective student is 3098. I cannot tell you, this is where you're going to find the charities that will probably help you, other kinds of organizations, research foundations, all of those kinds of opportunities can be found here by accessing it. So even if you're not doing a doctoral program, you will find opportunities and through that site. So again, make sure you use it. There are also other opportunities, like I've mentioned. You can, look for emergency loans if you're here, financial assistance funds. There's support, advice. So there are lots of different areas also that you can look to find funding. If you're coming from the United States, the US federal funding is available, and you can have a direct loan and to attend UCL. We're recognized by the US federal funding. And then again, there are lots of overseas scholarships, and you can find out more about those by Googling them or asking, through the British Council. Will also be able to guide you on those for overseas students. There are also, by the way, private funding loans, particularly for MBAs. So if you Google MBA funding, loan funding UK, you will find other organizations that can support you in loans to undertake your studies. In terms of, just other things, you can look to all sorts of organizations. And of course, when you're a student here, you can find different ways to get funding to engage. One of the things I just wanted to mention to you is, again, if you're an overseas student, or even if you're a home student, there are lots of jobs out there that you can undertake while you're studying. If you're an overseas student, you can work up to 20 hours while you're a student, alongside your education. And during the summer, you can work full time. Also, if you're coming to do a master's degree, after you finish your master's degree, you will qualify for post work that you can undertake. So these are, again, opportunities. So when you're thinking about how you put together your package, what kind of resources you're going to need, these should figure into your activities. And London has lots of jobs and opportunities. It's a dynamic city with lots of a vibrant economy. So these are all things that you want to also think and take advantage of as you come through the programs. Really in how it works too is you'll pay your funding, you will pay over the course of your semester. So if for example, you're doing the MBA, you'd have 3 installments, one at the beginning of your first term, one at the beginning of your second term, and one at the beginning of your third term. It works the same thing for your master's. So remember, you're not going to pay all of it up front. And then, you know, life in East London, there's lots of housing opportunities. Again, a variety of housing choices that you can make to fit your budget, understanding your budget, places to eat, you know, so much of many and your expenses as a student really will be about your choices, both in terms of housing. You know, students often live in group houses. Some of them will live in halls. So you want to explore all your different housing options as well. Understand the part of London you're in, and the cost and expense. But moreover, it's a great opportunity to be in a very vibrant, very young part of London, where we're seeing lots and lots of the growth going forward. And living in London is just a special opportunity. You know, museums, galleries, many of them are free. Beautiful parks, lots of activities in parks. So, you know, as you put together your funding and think about your opportunities, you can think about what it's going to be like, the kind of life you're going to have in London. So again, just lastly, just to highlight some of the things, you know, there's UCL funding, there's student funding, there's PGD loans for masters, and then there's, of course, independent financial opportunities as well. So that's really my presentation. I'm now going to turn to questions. So I'll just stop presenting and see what questions. So the first question, how easy would it be to take a part-time MBA if I don't live close to London? Well, this is a full-time MBA, so it would really depend on how far you live from London. If you can get down to London, you know, you will take 4 blocks across the year, each are 4 weeks. They'll run across essentially in a kind of a Tuesday to a Friday. You'll need to be in London by say 1 o'clock in the afternoon, be able to finish around 6. So it just would really depend. I know many people who commute in and out of London from places like Manchester, Birmingham. So, it's really much will depend upon you and the kind of lifestyle. But when you'll have those very intense blocks, you'll then have 2 weeks off. You'll do the next block. If you're doing it part-time, you'll take 4 weeks in the kind of autumn and 4 weeks in the spring, and then you'll have to work on one of the projects, and then the following year again 4 weeks in the project. So it is doable. It's just a matter of really sitting down and thinking about how you're going to get back and forth during that block as you do that. What department does GBSH fall under? We are our own department. Currently, I think for admissions, we're listed under the Institute of Global Health, but the Global Business School for Health is a department at UCL. During admissions process, we need to select funding. Can we apply for scholarships after the application is submitted? Of course, you can do that. You can apply for admissions and then submit the application. We won't, for department scholarships and most scholarships, they won't actually give you the scholarship until you've been admitted into the program. So I would imagine that you would want to either do them simultaneously or apply and then submit the application for the scholarship. The next question, I would like to know if there is a DDL for the Women Healthcare Leaders Scholarship application, or we just need to submit it before the end of March. You just need to submit it by the end of March. You can, it's really, if you're putting your application in, all you're doing is actually adding a 500-word essay. So if I was you, I would just do it all together and get it in, again, because it's a great opportunity. Can you apply to more than one degree within the Global Business School for Health? My understanding is that you can apply up to 2 different programs at UCL. So you could apply for those 2 programs within the Global Business School for Health. If you have any concerns, just contact admissions and they can clarify that for you. Okay, so those are really all the questions that I can see. Is there any other questions? Let me just move down here. Do we have an offer from UCL before we can make an application? No, you do not need an offer. Just can put your application in. At the same time, you put your admissions application in. You can also apply to the scholarship. You don't have to wait to get the scholarship. But of course, if the scholarship is important to you, you might want to wait to get the scholarship before you accept your offer, assuming that you get an offer into the program. So if you've got any questions or concerns, just let us know. But you have to be accepted into the program to eventually get the scholarship. I hope I'm clear on that. As far as for more than 1 degree, can it be separate personal statements? Yes. And also you want your personal statements to be different. If you're applying to 2 degrees, and I'm going to tell you, and if I am reading your personal statement and it talks about doing a degree in another program, in another department, for example, I'm probably going to be less impressed. So I think it's either you apply to 2 programs that are very similar and you write a personal statement that meets the kind of questions for both of those, or you apply for, and have 2 separate personal statements. So I think it's up to you, but I believe personal statements are extraordinarily important in very competitive programs. The programs in GBSH are very competitive. So you want really to have a very good, very strong personal statement. You also want to have a very strong CV, and you want to make sure that your references are strong. Pick people who know you, who can really talk about you. And it's really about having that package. Is the application process for the UCL MBA on rolling basis, or is there any round deadline? All of our programs are on a rolling basis. However, having said that, we are not planning to make any decisions on the MBAs until after the end of January. But after the end of January, we will start to make decisions on the MBA. So I'd really encourage you, if you're going for the MBA, to try to get your application in by the end of January, if you can. Of course, we'll keep taking students until the program is filled and we get to the end of the deadline period. But yes, that's how it'll work. And once we've reviewed your application and the criteria, you'll then be contacted to have an interview set up. Will an application be considered for a scholarship before the student has met the conditions stated in the conditional offer letter? No, what will happen is we will, after the deadline in March, we will review the applications for scholarships. You could be considered for a scholarship, but you will not be awarded the scholarship until you've met your conditions, because you have to be admitted into the program to get the scholarship. If you've got any questions about that or you're confused, just let us know. But when you get a scholarship, the condition of the scholarship will be that you have to enroll. And to enroll, you would have to have met the conditions of your offer. But I would still go in, put my application in for a scholarship, because you can, even if closer to enrolling, you then get your condition met, then you can have your scholarship as well. All right. So if you're granted a scholarship, you could receive the scholarship letter, even though you haven't met your condition, but you won't be able to use the scholarship until actually you've met the condition and you've enrolled. Because these scholarships are used to defer the costs of your tuition. So what will happen is the money that you will get will be, so when you get your first, kind of bill for your tuition, there will be deducted the amount of your scholarship. And so you won't be paying the full amount. All right, I think that's it. I don't see any other questions. I'm going to wait just a moment to see if any other questions come up. And sure enough, we did. I am disabled and will need further assistance before making my application. With this affect the deadline you just spoke about in January 2022? No, the January deadline is just when we're going to start to look at the applications. But we'll be reviewing applications all the way into April, May, because it will take time. We will make thoughtful consideration. If you have any concerns or need any assistance, please let us know. But do get your application in. The formal kind of applications ends at the end of March. We will keep, though, on any program that we have that has not filled up by the end of March, we will continue to have it open. So, I think it's just about trying to get your application in a timely fashion. But any way that we can help or support you, please let us know. Will being disabled affect my application? Absolutely not. It will not affect your application, and we will accommodate through the university and through our disability services to make sure that people can have an equitable opportunity and experience on the program. Okay, is there any other questions? All right, well, these were excellent questions. Again, just I want to reiterate one more time, we are here to help you. If you do think of anything, you just put it into our mailbox. If you need us to reach out, if you're applying to the MBA and you'd like a one-to-one conversation with me, please let us know, and my team can set that up for you. I really want to support you in every way to ensure that you get the opportunity and can study with us. So thank you so much for your time. I wish you great success and great fortune in terms of putting together your application, identifying funding, putting together a budget, and really making UCL a part of your education. So thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.